So I want to share with you our top 3 hip flexibility exercises. Now, just before we get started with those top 3 exercises, I want to make sure that we're all on the same page when we're talking about flexibility versus mobility. Now, everybody knows how important it is to have that flexible or mobile athlete, but those two terms are being used interchangeably by a lot of trainers or therapists. We got to make sure that we are using the terms properly. So, flexibility by definition is the ability of the muscle and the soft tissues around it to be lengthened, whereas mobility refers to the joint and the ability of that specific joint to be taken through the range of motion. So you can see how those are two different things. They both are very related in that one depends on the other and vice versa, but they are not the same thing. So without further ado, let's get right into the top 3 hip flexibility exercises.
The banded straight leg raise exercise is a classic one for the hamstrings. But what you want to do is keep in mind that the hamstring is such a long muscle. So it's best to separate the stretch, or basically stretch the upper fibers and stretch the lower fibers. And this is easily done by just flexing the knee. So if you notice here, what I'm going to do is pull my leg to my face with a flexed knee position. Doing that targets the upper hamstring fibers. By straightening the leg, you'll start to feel the tension, the stretch tension move down the hamstring fibers. And now you're going to be targeting the lower fibers of the hamstring. So, separating targeting the stretch, flex knee, upper hamstring, straight leg, or straightening the leg slowly gets the lower fibers of the hamstring. The glute stretch. Now, this exercise is typically done in a seated position or supine position and pulling your knee to your chest. I find it far more effective to use gravity to assist me in this exercise, or use my body weight. So, given the nature of the glutes, or the way the glute fibers run, is a fan-shaped muscle. So, by simply just going down, straight down the middle, the way I'm doing it right now, it's fine, it'll work. But I find it even more effective to change my body position or change my body angle, so in that way I get different fibers of the glutes stretched. So I'll go over the knee, hold that position for 20 to 30, then I'll shimmy over away from the knee and I'll hold that for 20 to 30. So there are 3 positions that you'll look at. One down the middle, 20 to 30, over the knee, 20 to 30, and then away from the knee for 20 to 30. And you can repeat this 2 to 3 times to get at the different fibers of the glute. And the last stretch is the hip flexor stretch. This is one of my all-time personal favorites. Now, whenever we do the hip flexor stretch, what you want to do is to take the hip flexor through its longest course. Now, to simply just stretch the muscle, the lunge position is good enough, but you want to also take the hip flexor and its fascial line through that course, through that stretch course. So by lifting the elbow up, similar to a tricep extension, or you may see some people do a rotation when they do an active stretch or a dynamic stretch. That is the same idea. So by lifting the arm in that position, takes that hip flexor and the hip flexor fascial line through its longest course. Now you can alter or enhance this stretch further by using the band, as you're going to see, and I lift the leg up, the back leg. So now I am now stretching out the quads or the 2-joint hip flexor, and also further stretching by contracting my glute.